Welcome back, my friends, to the darkest of times. We've just finished the first chapter of the darkest of times of Germany, and we want to resist more. We have just survived. We have had a new member that has joined us, and she was quickly pregnant. Still, she was so brave and stayed with us. And now we have just found out that people were hanged in the woods secretly in July 1933. And we need to know more. We need to resist. We need to save this country. Let's do it.
The bloodshed in Köpenick wasn't the first event of its kind, and it likely won't be the last. SA and police arrested tens of thousands of political opponents. Many were imprisoned, tortured, or killed. The Nazis banned all political parties except the NSDAP and made it clear that from now on they alone ruled the country. In November, Hitler won re-election with 92% of the vote. We went into hiding. It felt like there was nothing left we could do.
Chapter 2, Peak. Let the world know the truth about Germany. After the Köpenick bloodshed, the Nazis arrested thousands of political opponents. They were killed or injured. We went into hiding, waiting for the right opportunity to come back and fight the regime. For almost 3 long years we waited and watched things getting worse. Powerless, until that day in March 1936. That day. What will it bring us? An airship shaped like a giant cigar hovers above Tempelhof Airport. Hindenburg, the name of the former German president, is painted on the front of the hull. Hurry up, says Falklands, leading the way to the entry barriers. Is that what you wanted to show me, an airship? He looks at his watch. In less than an hour, you will be flying in this airship. He laughs. A band plays military marches as swastika flags flutter in the wind. The crowd starts cheering when the stairs of the Hindenburg are lowered. We'll keep quiet. We cannot do anything. Stare at the ground so people around me won't see that I don't join their cheers. The guards keeping the crowd from getting too close to the airship stops us. Halt! Only for invited guests. Oh, we are, says Falk, and takes out a letter. I look away. Guard looks at the letter, hands it back, and pulls back the rope. Hi, Hitler, Mr. Lenz, and Herr Schmidt, says Falk, and smiles. Herr Schmidt is here because my wife couldn't make it. I hope that's all right. Of course, Mr. Lenz. Have a nice flight. So I'm here instead of your wife? It was too dangerous for here? Because your wife couldn't make it? I whisper. Falk laughs. Inside, the restaurant looks very luxurious, filled with red-cushioned chairs and tables covered in white linens. Yeah, that's where the taxis went to. To the right people, so to say. There's even a little promenade with windows granting a look outside. You cannot just call them right people. To the absolutely wrong people, exploiting what they could get from the ones that were singled out for now. Like, for example, all the parties that were forbidden, of course, had some money and some houses and things like that, and that all was confiscated and fell to the German state. There's even a little promenade with windows granting a look outside. The name is Lenz, says Falk to the waiter, who nods and leads us to our table. Why are we here, Falk? Again, would you please explain to me what we are doing here, Falk? You will enjoy it. It's amazing, says Falk and laughs. The crew of the Hindenburg yells commands, and I feel a soft pressure in my stomach as the airship begins to rise. I catch a view out of one of the windows and see the people on the ground getting smaller and smaller. kind of amazing, but it's also terrifying. It's terrifying, but also pretty amazing, I have to admit. Told you so, says Falk, grinning. He orders 2 drinks. When they arrive, he raises his glass and says, "To you, Court Worth, and your brave group of heroes." Are you crazy? No, we have to make him... We cannot insult him. Don't say these things in public. Calm down. This is the regime's home turf. No one would expect, well, us in a place like this. Which makes it the perfect place to discuss restarting the group. I lean my head towards his and lower my voice. Why now? We've been underground for over a year because of the Gestapo. Most of our former supporters are either scared dead or have left the country. Why do you think it would be a good idea to revive the group now? This is all true, Court, says Falk. Yet you must. For one inescapable reason. It's our last chance to stop a war. War? But the Olympics are coming to Berlin. Is Hitler busy showing the world what a peaceful leader he is? Makes you think he'll start a war, I ask. This is a very good question, says Falk, and I will answer it. But first you must excuse me for a moment. I just saw someone I need to talk to. Why don't you take a look around the ship? The view from the promenade windows is marvelous. And they even have a lounge. It's the perfect place to meet interesting people. Would you please answer my question first? No, I mean, he's busy. No, we are asking... Well, please answer my question. Excuse me, I say. But Falk has already gotten up and is walking toward a man in a grey Luftwaffe uniform. They greet each other as if they were old friends and start talking. I'm too far away to hear what they are saying. I wonder what to do. Yeah, meeting interesting people. Maybe we can get supporters. Go to the lounge. The lounge is behind 2 heavy gates, the second of which is guarded by a member of the Hindenburg crew. Can I offer you something to read? He asks, as I am about to enter. Yes, please. I want to find out more. He hands me a news magazine. Bring it back when you leave, please. The lounge has no windows and is illuminated by indirect artificial light. Comfortable leather armchairs are arranged around small tables. There's only one other guest when I enter. He smiles and offers me a chair next to him. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll take the offer and sit down next to him. Thank you. You are too kind, I say, and take a seat. What brings you to this miracle of modern technology? He says, with a strong American accent. This would reveal something, like a friend of mine invited me here. Oh, I attend events like this all the time, I say. Really, he says, and raises an eyebrow. Lucky you, I guess. Why are you here? Me, I'm a journalist, writing for the New Observer, an American magazine. I am from the United States, as you might have guessed from my accent. Let's flatter him a bit. I had no idea. Your German is perfect. That's nice of you. Even if you are lying, he laughs. Let me introduce myself. I am Tom Fox, American journalist and danger seeker. Probably from Fox News, I don't know. If I wasn't, I would not be sitting inside a giant sack of hydrogen. He smiles. Danger seeker, yeah. Why are you here aboard this airship? I write about the new Germany for American readers. I'm fortunate to get invited to these kinds of events, says Fox. What do you think about Germany now? I love German culture, German food, the German language. Honestly, I had serious doubts about your government and the way they handle things before I came here. You had doubts, but you still came? Yes, I did, and I don't regret it in the slightest, he says. But after spending 3 months in the Reich, I must say, your country is up to something. I will make sure that readers in the States get the real picture. You cannot ask him what the real picture is. He will avoid it. What do American readers currently think? What do they currently think, I ask, and what do you want them to think instead? There are lots of rumors about Germany, says Fox. See, we like our freedom and the right to do what we like, but Hitler and his party seem to interfere in every detail of people's lives. And the Americans don't like that? No, we don't. Many American newspapers paint a picture of Germany as a country where people get arrested and killed by their government all the time. Many of us, we included, thought Germany was doomed when Hitler took over. But now you think differently? I mean, it's all under disguise, and of course we will say something differently. Now you think differently? Yes, I must admit that I am impressed. Germany looks great. Berlin looks great, and the rumors about how the Jews are being mistreated seem to be exaggerated. In my 3 months here, I haven't seen anything problematic. That's just what I would say if I wanted to get out of something like this alive. So what will we tell now? Everything fine, or Hitler one big misunderstanding? He hasn't said anything about Hitler, right? So your story will be everything fine in Germany, because that's what this says. Pretty much, yes. While I'm sure that I don't want someone like Hitler for us in the US, I think that maybe for you Germans, Hitler is just what you needed. Are you alright? Asks Fox. I mean, maybe we can try something here. There are things you and your readers should know. Oh, he says, this sounds interesting. I'm always interested in finding new sources. And be assured you can tell me anything. Informants stay anonymous. Not here. Do I have a card? Of course. This is the address of my Berlin office. If I'm not here, just talk to my secretary. He hands me a business card. I need to get back to the restaurant. It was a pleasure to meet you, Herr Schmidt, he says, as he gets up and leaves. Go back to the promenade. And now, we'll go to the windows and look out. I move close to one of the promenade windows and look out. Far beneath us, I see the city of Berlin. We're so far away that I can't recognize people on the street anymore. Even cars are hard to see. Isn't it wonderful, says an elderly woman next to me. You mean the fact that we're so high up? You mean the way the city looks from here? You mean the wonder of flight, or the fact that the city looks so small from here? Both, she says. Isn't this a wonderful view to see the world? I think it reflects how everything works down there. Here we are, masters and mistresses, flying above the world. And down there is everyone else, so small, so insignificant that you can't even see them anymore. I'm not sure I understand. We are their lords and masters, but they don't know it. She breaks into high-pitched laughter and reaches out her gloved hand. My apologies, I haven't introduced myself. I am Countess von Falkenstein. We'll take her hand and introduce ourselves as Herr Schmidt. Schmidt, well, if you say so, Herr Schmidt, she says, and arcs an eyebrow. May I ask how come you find yourself on this fantastic vehicle? Well, we can be clear here that, well, we work for the government, we're a teacher, but my friend works for the government. How nice of him, she says, but her tone seems to indicate that she doesn't mean it. Yeah, we're not one of the high ones. Hitler and his party are often proletarian in a way that disgusts me, but they know how to impress. You have to give them that. She points to a huge crowd that is assembled below to wave at the airship. You must feel pretty safe. Should you be careful with these kinds of statements? Yeah, maybe there's something we can get. Shouldn't you be careful with these kinds of statements? No? No one dares to try anything. My family has been ruling this land for centuries. We survived the French, the Great War, the Revolution and the Republic. We will survive this too. Besides, I support the Führer. I think he's a masterful leader. Let's talk about the family. Where does your family come from? We used to have properties all over the Reich, but today only a fraction of it is left. Some factories, a few estates, and a ridiculously humble villa in Wilmersdorf. Oh, they have it so poor, right? I would invite you, but its simplicity would embarrass me. It must be hard. I understand. We'll just feign understanding. It is terrible, she says. If we didn't have at least a few lucrative contracts with the SS, we would have starved to death long ago. So is that why you agree with Hitler? Hitler promised to make Germany great again. And that is exactly what he's doing. He got us out of that shameful Treaty of Versailles. He got the Saar Basin back from the French. And he will bring back the Polish corridor. Now, you have to understand that, yeah, of course, these sentences sound very much like today's slogans. But sentences like this exactly were used back then too. So there's that. It's not like it has been criticized by a lot of commenters that I've seen on Good Old Games, giving the game a down rating. But the actual verified owners gave the game a terrifically good rating. So there's that. And the Saar Basin. Yeah, the Saar Basin was French, or mostly French controlled in that times. And the Polish corridor, yeah, I mean, there were these old nobles that were all betting on Hitler to give them their property, their back, that they had back then. But you know, all know what happened, right? But this might lead to war, don't you think? Now it is you who is risking his life, but don't you think? But no, I don't think Hitler's actions will lead to war, she says. The people around him are sometimes questionable, but other nations look at us in awe. He made them respect us again. So do you really think that? The Jews, the communists, the Democrats, the unions, they have destroyed us. They have kept us from reaching our natural greatness. The natural enemies of the nobles, of people like her, rather. Then even the nobles were split. But look at us now, we shine and we rise. During the Olympic Games, the world will come to us, and the world will see the great Germany. But I've heard enough. What's next? We'll wait for Falk to come back. I see Falk standing at the other end of the promenade, gazing at the horizon. The Luftwaffe officer is nowhere to be seen. We will approach him. Do we have time to answer my questions now? Of course, I'm sorry I left you alone. It was someone who might become very useful to us. I will introduce you eventually. What was it again you wanted to know? How can we prevent Hitler from starting a war? Hitler wants war, just not right now. He knows the Wehrmacht isn't ready yet. He needs more time. He needs the world to think that his Reich is just like any other country, that there's no German threat. So we must let the world know what his plans really are. That's correct, says Falk. Let's face it, it's too late to fight Nazism from the inside. Even killing Hitler won't do it. Most Germans are happily following the regime. We need help from the outside. But if the world believes Hitler is harmless, the required help won't come. I mean, that's in question, that most Germans were happily following the regime. They were following it, probably, but many of them for fear of terror. Many of them were probably feigning it. But it's true that a good part were following, and I mean, the initial vote for Hitler with 33%, when Germany wasn't controlled, that is a big part of the country. And they would be, at least they would be happily following the regime. How shall we convince the world? Yeah, let's focus on the action. What makes you think anyone would listen to us, I ask? Nothing, says Falk. But we have to hope that they do, otherwise this world will see war A destruction far worse than anything it has ever experienced. So now we have international newspapers. Die Schweiz. Great excitement. How will elections turn out? The elections are taking place and everyone is eager to see how much the people approve the Führer. Rhineland prepares for annexation. People of the Rhineland get ready to join the Reich. All they need to do is sign the ballot in favor of the annexation in today's election. Says the Fortschritt. And we have Le Globe. Nothing matters more than coal. Goebbels calls coal the most important resource, and coal workers Germany's work heroes. 95% of the Reich's energy is provided by German coal-fired power plants. Well, even today, coal is big for energy, right? I think half of the world's energy is done by coal still, which is crazy, but it's just there. It's reliable. Not good for the environment, but it's one of the most reliable things, probably. You burn something, you get energy. It's the thing. And we're now in March 1936, 29th of March. Let's see how the group has changed, how the people in the group have changed. It's a bizarre thing to see Nazis holding each other back, says Karin Leopold during tonight's meeting. I saw something really weird at the club last night. What happened there? So I went out for drinks last night. As I'm waiting in line to get in, there's a couple in front of me. He's black, she's white. The bouncer gets furious and tells them to piss off. That's ugly, but not unusual, is it? A little bit of racism that showed there. There were clubs like that even before the takeover. Wait for it, says Karin, and continues. A policeman shows up and goes straight to the bouncer. He whispers something we can't hear. That must have to do with the Olympic Games. So the policeman was going to help the bouncer kick them out. Let's go along with the story. Just the opposite, says Karin. The bouncer grudgingly motioned for them to enter the club. And that was that. I think I know why that happened. He intervened because there were a lot of visitors and tourists here. They have to maintain an image for now, I say. So we'll still do our first missions now. We could read the news. We have already read the news. This is Hagelstein. He's changed a bit. Götz Iris still looks fine. Maria Esser sure had a baby right now. And Karin Leopold is doing fine. Let's go back to Berlin and see what we can do. We have only 10 supporters left, as you see. There's morale. We have still... Oh, we have a stack of leaflets and we have some intel. Well, that's kind of good. And we have 100 marks, which is great. We have 20 turns in this. And we'll see what we can do here. First, we should get the supporters going, right? We could go for a businessman, meet a friend... former unionist, meet an academic, meet another friend. What's going on here? We could buy paper. Up here we could contact a priest. That's something we would certainly do very quickly. We can collect donations in Kreuzberg. That's something we should do. But we need the connections first to be able to talk to people now. Let's see. First, let's contact a priest, probably. Lotte Teitelbaum, a devout Christian and member of the church in Wedding, tells us about a pastor who previously often expresses strong criticism about the regime. We need to go there. I should be able to do this, says Kurtworth. Yeah, he's doing that very, very well. Contact the priest. Friends are like something nice, but we want to get into the organized stuff. Let's go for a unionist. And everyone, there was always someone who will say that's good for him. Sebastian Müller knows a former trade unionist who might be willing to support our cause. I should be able to do this. The Nazis have no idea I exist. I'm under the radar. Yeah, Hagelstein is pretty good at this, probably. Let's see how he flies. Yeah! That's nice. How about Götz? Götz is similarly good. Karin, not that good at that. Maria, not at all. So, idealist, inspiring, not that much, but Götz can do it. Götz can definitely do it. Let him do it. Meet a former unionist with Götz Irre. And we have a businessman. An academic. Let's try. Else Baumann knows a professor in Schönenberg who might be up for helping us. The regime is not very popular among academics. Maybe we can find people here who would like to collaborate with us. Oh, let's see. Gerd Hagerstein. He's a Catholic conservative, and that helps him. It's very low literacy, but still it's not required, which is kind of odd, but I'll send him in there. We could collect the donations in Kreuzberg. Let's see. Our supporters among the workers in Kreuzberg might be willing to help us out with some donations. She's really good for that. Oh, look at that. Our social democratic independent gentlewoman is terrific at that. That's nice. They might not have much, but they might be willing to support us. Yeah, that's so great. That's so great. It's a little bit more dangerous than what these guys do, so she'll get the bicycle. And we have Karin. Kind of could maybe meet a friend, I'm not sure. Meet a friend in Spandau to find out if she'd be willing to help us. Maybe we could take some intel with us? No. A stack of leaflets? Not really. So let's go for that. Everyone's doing something good. Our contacts is that one priest, Robert Buchbinder. Here we go. People are still supporting us. And we got 3 marks. That's not much, but we get more. Götz Irre meets with a former unionist in Lichtenberg to see if it could convince to join the resistance. And he is convinced. Because of the way the regime limits workers' rights. Gerd Hagelstein meets with an academic. Let's hide. There's someone coming. There's a witness. Stay calm and move on. We have to abort the mission before achieving anything. And he has been seen. Courtworth meets with a priest in Wedding. See if we could be one for the resistance. Yeah, Wedding, that's actually a part of the city. Things go well. The priest is an opponent of the regime and tells us that many members of his community might be willing to help us. That's nice. Maria visits the group's known supporters among... Oh my goodness, let's hide. Stay calm and move on. They had to abort the mission. Karin Leopold meets with a friend in Spandau. Oh, goodness. Turns out the friend hates the Nazis even more than back then. We offer her an opportunity to do something against it, and she's all for it. And she has been seen, but we gain 2 supporters for that. At least that. So, it wasn't that successful, but it was an okay one. In Die Schweiz, 99% for Hitler and the annexation of the Rhineland. 99% of the voters voted for the NSDAP. Yeah, I mean, in the follow-up socialist state at the east of Germany, you always had these results too in the later times. 99% of the voters. Guess who wasn't allowed to vote? Yeah, so it was basically the way that in practice there was no secret vote anymore, and yeah, if you voted differently, your ballot was either probably destroyed or changed, or even you were singled out and had dire consequences. So that's how the 99% of the voters came. Then we had Ribbentrop in London. Ribbentrop presents the British government in London with a German response to the Locarno Memorandum of 19th of March. It contains a proposal for a comprehensive peace plan based on full equality of all participants. Yeah, the image is important now. And scholarships only for members of the Hitler Youth. From now on, school sponsorship, awards and scholarships will be reserved for members of the Hitler Youth. That made many Germans put their kids into the arms of the regime where they were re-educated. So many great authors of actually post-war Germany, for example, had Nazi backgrounds because of that. They were put into the system at a very young age and then continued to stay there because children, if treated relatively well at least, definitely are gullible. They cannot discern what is good and evil. They just get their values. They imitate. And so many of these had these backgrounds, but after the war and after everything they had seen, often turned, or mostly turned their back on the ideology. And anyone who would tell them, hey, but you were somewhere in the Hitler Youth or something like that, it was mostly not their fault. But it was their parents' fault. Even though it would have been hard. It would have been, of course, very hard, and that's why this went on so smoothly. It would have been a hard decision for parents, right? Do you want your child to have no future? Or do you want to have a child that becomes a Nazi? That's the choice. Good luck. Good luck. Götz Iris seems very distraught during our meeting tonight. I have to watch what I say around my daughter. I really put us in danger. Yeah, that was always the case, also later in the German Democratic Republic sometimes, even though, of course, the consequences weren't that dire as they were in the Nazi regime. The kids would talk of their parents wherever they went, they would go to the kindergarten and they were asked there, hey, what does your dad do? What does your daddy do? What kind of radio do you listen to? Radio stations. And if the kids gave the wrong answers, then you had it coming. You had it coming. That was a very evil practice. Well, that continued in some states later on. Or in authoritarian, non-democratic regimes. Mostly. What kind of danger? Are you okay, Götz? The Gestapo came knocking at my door. I had no idea what they were doing there or how they found me until it turned out that my daughter has been repeating anti-Nazi slogans at school. Slogans she must have picked up from me. Did you tell them she got them from you? Oh God, no. Hopefully not. Of course I didn't tell them that. I'm not an idiot, says Götz. I played dumb, told them I had no idea where she had learned them. It was enough to avoid worse, but they have their eyes on me now. to be careful. Anything we say can be used against us, even unwittingly, by the people we love, I say. Everyone's a little bit depressed about that, I guess. And Götz... Ooh. Look at that. He's got the heat coming. And we have nowhere to hide at the moment. Break into the factory. Get something done here. Götz area. What can you do that is of no danger? Could meet someone, maybe. Meet an academic. Talk to academics. Talk to a Christian community. These are the very easy ones, right? So, meet a friend. He could maybe meet a friend. It's dangerous for him, and he's not very good at that. He needs to talk to workers. That would be something for him. Buy some paper. Collect donations in Kreuzberg. Could talk to the Christian community. Get a fake passport. We need something that we can do to remove the threat, right? Steal a uniform. Freedom bell. Extreme risk. There's nothing right now. We need to contact more people. Get our contacts up. Our opportunity needs to be in there. Oh, Götz, it's good that you're so secretive. We could buy paint, maybe. Let's go at the inventory. We have money. Could go buy paint. The painter Angelike Kupfer tells us about shops where we might buy larger quantities of paint without raising too much suspicion. We can now buy paint. Oof. Let's see. Can we risk that with him helping? Send Gerhard along, and that would be terrible. No, I don't think he can do anything right now. Götz. Buying paint sounds simple, but in times like these, it can raise suspicion. We need empathy, and we need literacy. Court. That is your mission. Who could join in? Maybe Maria. She has been so good at collecting money. Let's see about Katrin. She's learned to resist smarter and better. Could give her propaganda or literacy. Secrecy, maybe. Now let's give her a little bit of propaganda, maybe. Buying paint, so we can get 2 paint. If we add more here, like we can buy more paint, of course. Being reckless, no. A mediator. I mean, Gerhard Hagelstein would certainly be good for that. Maria would be the dream. Let's see. If we pay more, then we could get more. 60. Oh, that's all okay. 50. Yeah, buying paint. That's just a great thing to do. Let's see. That would be a little bit more risky, but still okay. Let's get Hagelstein. 3 to 4. 4 to 5. 4 to 5. Yeah, let's give her that opportunity to go together with us. Nah. We are investing a lot. We need to make this very safe. It's confirmed to buy paint. So we can do more here and here. Write slogans on walls. We'll meet more people. Let's see. Meet a businessman. Support John Kraft has a business associate whom he thinks might be willing to work with the resistance. Well, let's see. What is harmful, violent, doubtful past, monarchist and communist? It's helpful being a freelancer. Oh, yeah. Christian liberal, moderate liberal, inspiring, or egoist. We don't have anyone there. He's an altruist. That doesn't help. Karin is a little bit better at that. What is his stance today? Meeting a businessman could prove very useful. We'll send these both. And let's see what we can do there. Wish us luck. And we need some place for Guts to hide. I mean, it's really, really bad here for him. Just one supporter. What's going on here? A restaurant in Köpenick. Karin Leopold meets with a businessman who always used to be opposed to the regime. I'd like to know how the man sees things today. The businessman is upset about the way things go under Hitler's regime, and he offers to help us and wants to introduce us to some of his associates who might think in a similar way. Gerhard thinks he has been seen. Kurt Worth goes to a shop far from where he lives to avoid the shop owner recognizing him when buying paint for the group. Kurt Worth makes the order and the shopkeeper disappears into a back room. After a while he returns with 5 buckets of paint. That's so good. The morale is suffering so much. There's a coup in Spain. The Spanish parliament dismisses the president of Spain, Niceto Alcalá Zamora, Jews banned from becoming interpreters. Reich Minister of the Interior Wilhelm Frick decides to exclude Jews from the profession of interpreters. The Hindenburg returns. The German airship LZ-129 Hindenburg returns to Friedrichshafen from its first trip to South America. That would become a haven after the war for fleeing National Socialists. 12th of April 1936. Maria Esser has something to share during our meeting. I don't know if I told you guys this, but my uncle knows a man who works under Goebbels. Had dinner together recently and I heard about it. The uncle, no, you're with the resistance? No, I'm keeping that a secret from everyone. Oh, that's good. Here's the deal. The orders from the top are to tone down the anti-Semitic rhetoric, take down posters that decry Jews and blacks and gypsies, and basically clean up the Nazi image. Well, I think I know what they're doing. With the Olympics taking place in Berlin soon, all eyes are on the city. Now the Nazis are going to pretend the past couple of years never happened, I say. So I guess it's our job to make sure they don't succeed. We gained some intelligence, and that's very good. And we're going to continue this in the next episode, my friends. Have a great time until then, and happy gaming. Resist, my friends. It's time for some resistance. Resist against what you think is wrong. Have a great time until next time, and happy gaming. This is Immanuel signing out. See you soon.